Alrighty, what is up everyone? Today we are in Newstead at this gorgeous apartment with Phil Rand. We are doing just a regular listing video and we're going to take you on a little behind the scenes tour as to how we do that, and we'll even show you a little bit of our editing breakdown because Phil wants it back today. So once we finish shooting here, we'll go home, we'll edit it and get it back to our agent in less than 24 hours. On the Blackmagic 6K Pro in 6K RAW. The one reason I choose this camera is because when you shoot in RAW, you can manually adjust the white balance in post. And when you're shooting real estate, there's often a lot of split lighting situations because you've got daylight, which is 5600 Kelvin out here, then you've got all these interior lights, which are 3200 Kelvin. And so if you haven't got your white balance dialed in perfectly, you can ruin your shot very easily. So that's why I shoot in RAW. I can adjust all that in post and get a much cleaner image. But what we're doing now, we're shooting all our wide angle stuff on the Laowa 12mm, trying to make the place look as big as possible. So we're just grabbing a few different angles. Later on, we're gonna go put on a tighter lens and get all the detail shots. And Phil particularly wants a lot of detail shots, so we'll show you how we do that as well. Shooting super wide. So this one, we're gonna show the kitchen and the living area, and then we're gonna slightly push around and go all the way down the hallway, just to show how big the place is, remembering our ninja walk, and slightly turning to reveal back outside, and Bob's your uncle. One thing I see a lot of real estate videographers do, and it grinds my gears, but it's cool if you do it, I'd change though. They have like half the roof in frame and then like no floor in frame. You want to have the same amount of roof to floor ratio. So here's a little bit better of an example. See how we got the roof lined up on that third line, and then we've got the floor on that third line. That's kind of what you want to do. You don't want to have it up like that. You don't want to have it too low. You just want it bang. And then you can just push in, add a little bit of a turn. So usually I try to go to every single room and shoot it from each corner. And then for bedrooms, I usually only just do through the door, just because, unless it's a really big bedroom. So something Frank just brought up, he had his shutter, it was flickering, and that can often happen when the lights are set at a certain hertz. What you can usually do, it depends what frame rate you're shooting in. If you're shooting at 60 frames, then I would put your shutter at 1/100th, or if you're shooting at 50 frames, you can also do 1/100. But on the Blackmagics, I use shutter angle instead of shutter speed, and I just set it to 180 degrees, and Bob's your uncle. Lighting cheat code, you ready? Backlight everything. What I mean by that, so we take this room for example, you want to put your subject between the camera and the light source. So the light source is out here, We've got that beautiful, it's already diffused because these windows are kind of place your subject between the lens and the light source, and it'll just make everything look super cinematic. Give it a try in your next. Now. That wants to do a little calibration dance. 4K, 30 frames a second. Shoot at an f4. Oh, there's a guy on the roof. That's annoying. What do you mean maximum flight altitude reach? Why is it telling me that? Oh, it's pretty ugly actually. Oh my gosh, that magpie's still going me. Look at him. Oh my gosh, Frank. Man, such a little vish bird. Like it's got little man syndrome or something. Man, flying in the city gives me so much anxiety because there's literally 100 different things you could crash into at any given time. Plus magpies.
Can I come work with you? You give me a job?
Shut up.
We can call it Phil and Zach King Productions.
Shut up. Mate.
Yeah, down there. Oh, there it is.
All the way?
Bang, 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 keep going. Keep going, all the way.
Are you guys hearing this?
I'm too short to look over your shoulder. All the way. Oh, bang, keep going. All the way out. That's the balcony. How the arms.
Oh no, we stopped recording. What happened? We are switching to our tight. It's good tight. So a little secret that I try not to tell too many people in the film community is that I forgot to bring my neutral density filter. So I just overcrank my shutter angle. We're at a 45-degree shutter right now. Don't tell Roger Deakins, he'll get upset. It's real estate, so there's not much motion blur, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, that's nice. As far as gimbal settings go, I put my twist and turn, I just put everything on slow just so it gets that silky smooth look and there's not too much jitters or harsh actions. That doesn't really make any sense. Slower the better. A good little tip, use foreground as much as possible. Create a bit of depth. We're going to use this little plant as our foreground option and we're going to focus in on the barbecue in the background. And as far as focal lengths for the tight shots, I'm shooting most of it at around a 50mm. That does the job. Don't really need anything too much tighter than that. Alrighty, so we are back at home. We just finished shooting. Come back into the office, and first things first, we dump all the footage onto a hard drive, and I personally use these SanDisk Extreme SSDs. They're super reliable and super fast, and you can drop them and you never have to worry about footage getting lost. So I put all the footage onto a hard drive, and now I've imported it into Premiere Pro, and I've gone through and I've cut up all the clips. And so I just go through, I use some keyboard shortcuts. I hit Q to cut the in, and then I hit W to cut the out, and then it's just a super quick way to go through and cut all your clips. And so that's what we've done, and as you can see, everything's all ready to go. And the way I work with this particular real estate agent, I make sure that they choose the song first. They got a particular style that they're going for, and we discussed that when we were at the house, what kind of vibe we were after. So they've chosen the song, they've sent that through, they're all happy with that. That way it just saves any unnecessary song changes after we've already edited the video, because that's happened before and it's just an absolute pain in the bum. Go through the entire video and cut it to a new song. So make sure you get the song down first, and once you got the song, you're pretty much ready to go. So I'll just walk you through what I've got set up here. We're using Premiere Pro. The main reason we're using Premiere over DaVinci is because we're going to need After Effects later on for a few transitions and those kind of things, and it just makes it a little more seamless. I'm not the biggest fan of Premiere, it crashes all the time, so make sure you got the Command S button on rapid fire because you'll need it. It crashes. The way I've divided this up, we got our program monitor here, and then we got our cut timeline, and I'm going to go through and make a new timeline. We'll label it, and we'll call it main video. We'll just make sure we select the correct frame rate, correct resolution, 4K and 16:9, bang. And the reason why we do 2 timelines is because this is all our footage here, and we can just go through and pick out what clips we want rather than going through and deleting and moving everything around. It can get a little bit messy, especially when the real estate agent wants revisions later on. And so this just works good for me. Do it however you want. This is simply just how I do it. This particular video is only going to go for a minute, so we're going to cut out a 60-second portion of the song and then we can get going. So that first 60 seconds ain't too bad. Okay, so with this song, what I think we might do, I like the start of the song here. Would make for some good intro shots, but then also like where it picks up over here. So we're just gonna cut this and make it blend together. You just gotta kind of play around with it. Sometimes it's good just to bring it down on the other track. You can see the waveforms. The waveforms are very similar each chorus, just so it fades over each other nicely. Pretty seamless if you ask me, first take. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through and pick out our favorite intro shots to begin with. Usually I like to start with tight shots as it builds a little bit of suspense, gets the viewer engaged, like, ooh, what is this place? This looks nice. I know Phil was big on his greenery, so we might include something that's got a bit of greenery. Now, as you can see, this is the apartment here. It's swamped in amongst the industrial estate, so we might have to put a little location marker on that just to, but we probably want to have the city in the background just so people can see. So we know which ones we've used because we put them up to the second track. So that shows what clips we've used and then what clips we haven't. That way, once we're editing, there's no double ups or anything like that. So we're going to select these, we're going to hit sequence, close gaps. It is a little bit of a slower paced one, which is great. Not just another friggin' social media banger like we are always seeing. Nothing against social media bangers from NGU Media or X Media, but I think they're getting a little old. Zoom transitions and whoosh sound effects. We're going to reverse this clip just so it's going the other way as opposed to the other clip. So we'll reverse speed. The direction of this clip is going from right to left, left to right, back to right to left. Once we've done this little intro sequence, we'll go through to our wide angles. So we'll go through and we're going to hit replace with After Effects composition. Now we're going to dive in After Effects and have a little sticky beak at what we can do. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go to speed graph. So we click on this little thing here, graph editor. This is going to adjust the speed value, and this is why it's called a speed ramp, because it looks like an actual ramp. We'll render this out and you'll see what it does. It speeds into the transition, ramps in nice and smooth. And then the clip that we want, we'll just trim the fat there. Let me start here. Enable time remapping on him. Hit our keyframe where it will start. We're gonna want it to end probably around here. And you gotta do all this before you actually move your keyframes around, otherwise it just stuffs up the whole sequence. We just want a nice smooth ramp. We'll see how that looks rendered out. Now what I'm doing here is adjusting the delta. We want to get this bang there. This is in the value graph, not the speed graph. Let's see how it looks if we go back into Premiere. Oh, now we're down this end of the house. It only makes sense to show some more clips from down this end of the house. So let's go through and see what we can find. For this one, I think it's best if we stay away from the speed ramps. I think that they can work in some areas, but I think that we just want some nice longer clips that are going to show off the property a little bit better. Nothing too crazy. Might cut to some other rooms now. Got our master bedroom. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off and then report back on everything that we've done. Enjoy this little time lapse. Alrighty, so what we're doing now, we're going through and we're sequentially organizing all the clips. We
started off with the big open living room, the kitchen, a little bit of the outdoor back patio, and then we moved down the hallway into the bedrooms. And so we go from the second living room into the master bedroom, into the ensuite and bathroom. And then once we've gone through and we've established our timeline, then we go back and we add in the graphics that we need to add. And then once we've added in all the graphics and the text, we go back through and we color grade. For my color grading process, I don't go too over the top with it. I've really been loving Juan Millar's Pocket 6K to Alexa Rec 709 LUTs. That's a good base LUT. It's not the final output. Then I go through and tweak to get it to where I need it to be. And I'll warp stabilize all the clips that need to be warped. And I don't do every clip, just those that are a little bit shaky, just so we can get that super seamless look and something that's not distracting to the viewer. Dropped some location markers down to help give the viewer more information as to where it is, because it's quite hard to see without a location marker just because of where it's situated. I go through and do a little bit of sound design just to bring it all to life. I use the Lens Distortions sound effects pack. That's how we film and edit a real estate video in less than 24 hours. And this has been something that's super valuable to real estate agents. In this particular industry, time is money. If an agent has a property to take to market and they know that the photos and the films can be done on day 1, they can have everything uploaded day 2 and then take it to market on day 3, that is super valuable. So tap into that. If you can get quick at editing, you can add that to your value offer to help make you more money. I've done this with a lot of other agents. They love the quick turnaround times. And yeah, I hope this video has been helpful in some way or another. I know the editing process was a little bit rushed. If you would like me to dive into a little bit more detail on a particular topic, just comment down below. I'll answer all your questions. I'll link where I got the LUTs from, where I got the sound effects from, and where I got the motion graphics from, so you can download those down the bottom. Until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.